over the summer, I decided to bulk up, giving myself 5 months to try to hit 250 pounds. Why 250 pounds? Well, it's been a milestone of mine that I've been trying to hit for many years, and I've gotten close to it, but never quite achieved it. So this time around, I told myself no matter what, I'm gonna hit that weight and see what happens. I pretty much took it to the limit as far as my physical capabilities go, and I felt like I wasn't quite satisfied as I thought I would if I would hit that milestone. So in this video, I want to talk about some of the reasons why maybe you should bulk or maybe why you shouldn't, and what's changed over the years for me. Now before we get started with the rest of the video, I just want to say a huge thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. If you're anything like me, you get a little complacent with the foods you eat. I don't know how many times I've had chicken and rice and broccoli over and over again, really just because it's easy for me, I'm familiar with it. But thankfully with something like HelloFresh, they can really get you out of that rut. And with the holiday season right around the corner, we all know how hectic that can be, but thankfully HelloFresh can make that a hell of a lot easier by delivering it straight to your door, including all the ingredients and also the recipes. So that way it's fun, it's easy, and you have more time to spend with your family and friends. Now they make eating well easier with family-friendly, calorie-smart, pescatarian, and veggie options every week. Plus, every recipe is packed with fresh produce sourced directly from farmers. They also offer a wide variety of quick and easy recipes, including 20-minute meals, easy cleanup, and low prep options. Let's be honest, the quicker you can cook it, the quicker you can eat it, and that's what we all want. Now I know some people might be looking at all the packaging when it arrives and you're like, wait a second, this is a lot of waste, I don't like this. But thankfully the packaging HelloFresh uses to ship your food is almost entirely made from recyclable and or already recycled content. So make sure you go to hellofresh.com/buffdudes14 and use code buffdudes14 for up to 14 free meals and 3 free gifts. Just make sure you let them know the Buff Dudes sent you. Yeah. First, I want to talk about priorities. Now, if you want to get the most out of your training, you're going to have to make it a priority. And even the word priority is caring about one thing above all others. And that's saying quite a bit because there's a lot to care about in one's life. Family, friends, relationships, but training is definitely going to take a huge investment, but it's going to pay off in the long run. Now, talking about bulking, that's going to be an extra amount of investment because you really have to track the amount of food you have every day. You're going to have to program out your workouts and making sure you're always getting that progression in there. So there's a lot to it, but if you do make it priority, you're going to get a lot out of it. And I have gotten a lot out of it in the past. So if someone asks us, should I bulk, should I cut, whatever it is, absolutely, but you're gonna have to make it a priority. Now priorities change over the years, of course. Do you wanna continue to bulk and cut? Do you wanna be a professional bodybuilder, or do you wanna just kinda have a standard fitness level? And that's completely fine. You just have to ask yourself, what do you really want out of your training? For me personally, I was really obsessed with bodybuilding. So in the beginning, I made that a priority to bulk up, to cut down, to gain as much muscle mass as possible. And honestly, it did pay off. So if you do want that in your life, if you want to make that priority, 100%, you have to commit to it. You're going to get a lot out of it. I highly recommend it, but it doesn't mean you have to do that. You don't have to bulk and cut to gain muscle. You can just honestly slowly increase your calories throughout the years. You know, you can maintain a great physique, but you don't have to go through these phases of bulking really high, gaining a lot of weight, then cutting down. I mean, that's a certain technique for some people, but not everyone. So you really have to ask yourself again, what is your priorities? What is your goals? What do you really want to achieve? And that's really going to dictate what you're training and if you really do want to bulk or not. Next, I want to talk about goals. Goals are an amazing thing. There's short-term goals, there's long-term goals, and goals not only work in the fitness realm, but they work in any facet of life as well. You're really pushing yourself to new heights. You're setting a destination, you're achieving that, then you're setting a new one, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden you're at a place you never thought you could be before. But unfortunately, if you set very similar goals for yourself, you can feel like you have a sense of false achievement. And that's, I feel like, what I fell into. Bulking, cutting. I mean, the goals are there, but they're so similar year after year. You don't feel like you're actually achieving anything. And I really felt this the last time with gaining 250 pounds. I got to that goal, but what was it for? I mean, what was I really doing it for? I had to ask myself, step back and say, I really need to reevaluate why I'm doing what I'm doing and the type of goals I'm setting out for myself. And that's when you have to think you have to set new and exciting goals to not only stimulate maybe physically, but also mentally too. So that way you're always progressively getting better and better. So if you're first starting out, make sure you set those specific goals and get outside your comfort zone. Don't do something that's too familiar over and over and over again. Make sure you're always pushing the boundaries and being the best person you could possibly be. Something that's very easy to fall into, especially if you're a guy, is chasing the size game. With the outlet of social media, it is so easy to compare yourself to others now more than ever. I remember when I first stepped in the gym, I'd see these big guys and I'd look at them and naturally I'd say, I want to be bigger than them, I want to be better than them. And it's good to be competitive, but a lot of athletes will tell you that the best competitor and the best competition is against yourself. You don't want to be too worried about what other people are doing because you're going to be let down pretty quickly. Because let's say you do get bigger than that guy at the gym. Well, maybe there's going to be a guy that joins a gym that's even bigger than him. Then you're constantly chasing this unachievable thing or something that doesn't necessarily make you happy altogether. And for me, when I got up to 250 pounds, honestly, I felt a little bit empty because I kind of lost why I was doing it in the first place. Let's get as big as I possibly can, but honestly, I didn't even really feel that satisfied when I got to that weight, because then you would open your phone, you'd look at all these other guys and they're a hell of a lot bigger than you are, and you'd look at yourself and you'd feel kind of small, which that is really a sign that you're not in the right headspace. So you want to make sure that you're not chasing this endless cycle that's not going to make you happy. You want to choose something that's going to make you happy, and you want to compete against yourself and not be too worried about what other people are doing. I'd like you to ask yourself 3 questions. Do you have the time? Do you have the patience? And will you have the consistency? Because those 3 things will either make you or break you. Do you have the time to prep all your meals and to complete all your workouts, or the patience to not quit if you don't see those results right away? And will you be consistent with all that stuff day in and day out? Now, we've talked a lot about consistency in the past, and we preach about it like crazy because it is so important in anything you do in life, whether it be learning a guitar, new language, art, whatever it is. Consistency is definitely key, but time and patience goes along with that. Time is the investment you put into that specific thing to making sure you're getting the most out of it. And of course, the patience is because things don't happen overnight. And if you don't love what you're doing, then it's really hard to put a lot of time into it, to have patience with it, and really be consistent with it as well. So you want to make sure you love what you're doing, and that goes along with goal setting, making a specific goal that you really want to achieve, that you love, that you yearn for. So having the time, the patience, and the consistency becomes a lot easier. Now, with the last bulking phase I did, my time and patience was running pretty thin. And even though I was consistent with it, I felt like I wasn't really wanting to put a lot of time and patience into it. I kind of wanted to get it over with in the end. But if it's something new, it's exciting. In the beginning, when I first started bulking up, I wanted to put all the time into it. I had a lot of patience for it, and I was super consistent with it. So it really goes to show you, if those things are lacking, you might have to reevaluate some things to make sure that you really love what you do, or you really want to achieve what you set out before you, or maybe make small adjustments so that way that time, patience, consistency becomes a little bit easier in the long run. In the end, you want to make sure that you're happy. You're not doing it to impress other people, to fit in, to follow a trend, whatever it is. You find out that what makes you happiest is to do what you want to do. Growth goes in many ways. It's definitely not a linear line. And I'm not just talking about muscle growth, I'm talking about mental growth here too. Sometimes you take a couple step backs, sometimes you sidestep or zigzag. It's all over the place, but as long as you keep pushing forward, you're definitely going to achieve any goal you set out in front of you, whether that be gaining muscle, losing body weight, maybe learning a new language, whatever it is. Make sure you keep pushing forward. You love what you do, you put in the time and patience, consistency, you make it a priority, and you can really do whatever you want to do. And that's something that I found out. My growth was figuring out I really didn't need to grow anymore. So my bulking days are over, and that's cool with that. You know what? That's exciting for me. It's a new stage in my life, and you're gonna see the same thing in your life. You reach these new stages, you make new goals, and it feels damn good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this format, let us know in the comments below. And as always, stay buff. Yeah.